Kelsey Mitchell just broke her silence, and what she revealed about Caitlin Clark has the entire WNBA in absolute chaos. After months of calculated interviews and PR-friendly soundbites, the Indiana Fever veteran dropped a truth bomb so explosive that league insiders are scrambling to decode its real meaning. This wasn't just another teammate compliment or generic praise. Mitchell exposed something that changes everything we thought we knew about the dynamics inside the Fever locker room and Clark's true impact on not just Indiana, but the entire league. What Mitchell said went viral within minutes, racking up millions of views and sparking heated debates across every basketball platform. Some are calling it the most honest assessment of Clark's influence ever given by a teammate. Others think Mitchell just revealed tensions that have been brewing behind closed doors all season. But here's what makes this even more shocking. Mitchell didn't just talk about basketball. She exposed personal details about their relationship that nobody saw coming. Before we dive into the bombshell revelation, let me ask you this. Do you think Caitlin Clark has fundamentally changed women's basketball forever? Or is this just temporary hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because what Mitchell just revealed might completely change your answer. The timing of Mitchell's statement couldn't be more significant. This comes just days after Clark's injury update sent shockwaves through the league, with the Fever star dealing with ongoing recovery issues that have kept her sidelined for multiple games in early 2025. While fans have been desperate for updates on Clark's condition and return timeline, Mitchell chose this exact moment to speak her truth. And trust me, what she said wasn't what anyone expected. Mitchell started by acknowledging something that most veterans would never admit publicly. She said Clark, quote, changed the world and changed the dynamic of basketball itself, unquote. Think about that for a second. This is coming from a player who carried the Fever through their darkest years, who averaged over 20 points per game when nobody was watching, who stayed loyal when the franchise won just 5 games in an entire season. For her to essentially say that none of the current success happens without Clark takes unbelievable courage and honesty. But that wasn't even the most revealing part. What happened next would shock everyone who thought they understood the Fever's locker room dynamics. Mitchell went deeper, exposing how Clark's arrival affected her personally and professionally in ways nobody anticipated. She revealed that certain doors opened specifically because Clark came to the Fever, doors that had been closed to Mitchell despite her years of elite performance. Instead of bitterness or resentment, Mitchell expressed genuine appreciation and respect. This level of maturity and self-awareness is practically unheard of in professional sports where ego typically rules everything. The contrast between Mitchell's response and how other WNBA veterans have handled Clark's rise is absolutely stunning. While players like Aja Wilson have thrown subtle shade and legends like Cheryl Swoops have taken public digs at Clark's accomplishments, Mitchell chose a completely different path. She acknowledged Clark's transformative impact while simultaneously reminding everyone of her own crucial role in keeping the franchise alive during its worst years. This wasn't surrender or submission. It was strategic brilliance. Mitchell's words carry extra weight because of her unique position in Fever history. She's been through 5 different head coaches in 8 years, survived roster turnovers that would break most players mentally, and somehow maintained elite production when opponents treated Indiana games like practice sessions. She watched as the franchise became the league's doormat, endured countless blowout losses, and still showed up every night giving maximum effort when the arena was half empty, and nobody cared. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Sources close to the team have been whispering about behind-the-scenes dynamics that Mitchell's statement might have just confirmed. There's been speculation all season about how the veteran players truly feel about Clark getting most of the attention and credit for Indiana's turnaround. Some insiders suggested jealousy was brewing, that Mitchell specifically felt overshadowed despite having her best statistical season. But Mitchell's revelation completely destroys that narrative. What makes this even more fascinating is the timing with Sophie Cunningham's recent arrival to the Fever roster. Cunningham, who brings her own massive following and fierce competitive spirit, adds another layer to this already complex dynamic. Mitchell's comments seem strategically designed to set the tone for how this new-look Fever team will operate, with mutual respect and shared recognition rather than petty rivalries and ego battles. The basketball world is still processing the implications of Mitchell's bombshell. Some analysts believe she just set a new standard for how veteran players should handle generational talents joining their teams. Others think this was a calculated move to position herself as the mature leader of a championship-contending roster. But everyone agrees on one thing. Mitchell just changed the conversation around Clark and the Fever permanently. But that wasn't the whole story. Mitchell also revealed something about Clark's personality that fans have been dying to know. She specifically mentioned how Clark, quote, accepted it with so much grace and even welcomed us with open arms, unquote. This gives us the first real insider perspective on how Clark handles the pressure and attention behind closed doors. According to Mitchell, Clark isn't just handling the spotlight, she's actively making sure her teammates feel included in the success. This revelation comes at a crucial time for the Fever organization. With Clark's injury status uncertain and the team preparing for what many expect to be a championship run once she returns, maintaining locker room harmony is absolutely essential. Mitchell's public endorsement and honest assessment might be exactly what the team needed to silence any doubts about internal chemistry. The reaction from other WNBA players has been swift and telling. Several veterans who previously criticized or dismissed Clark's impact have suddenly gone quiet. Others are praising Mitchell for her honesty and maturity. Even Diana Taurasi, who famously warned Clark about the reality check coming in the pros, seemed impressed by Mitchell's approach to handling the situation. What happened next would shock everyone even more. Mitchell didn't stop at praising Clark's impact. She went further, essentially admitting that the Fever's entire rebuild strategy worked because of the perfect timing of draft picks leading up to Clark's arrival. She name-dropped Aliyah Boston and other key pieces, but made it crystal clear that Clark was the catalyst that transformed potential into reality. This level of honest analysis from an active player about their own team's construction is practically unprecedented. The financial implications of what Mitchell revealed cannot be ignored. By publicly acknowledging Clark's role in opening doors and creating opportunities, she's essentially confirming what everyone suspected, but nobody would say out loud. Clark isn't just changing the game on the court, she's revolutionizing the business side of women's basketball. Ticket sales, merchandise, television ratings, sponsorship deals, everything has exploded since Clark's arrival, and Mitchell just became the first teammate to openly acknowledge and appreciate that impact. Here's something else that makes Mitchell's statement so powerful. She's negotiating her own contract extension with the Fever. Most players in that position would try to maximize their own value and importance to the franchise. Instead, Mitchell chose honesty over ego, acknowledging Clark's transformative impact while still asserting her own crucial role in the team's success. That's not just refreshing, it's revolutionary in professional sports. The psychological aspect of Mitchell's revelation is equally fascinating. Sports psychologists are pointing to this as a masterclass in managing ego and embracing change. Mitchell could have easily felt threatened by Clark's arrival and the attention she receives. Instead, she's channeled those emotions into motivation and turned potential rivalry into genuine partnership. This mindset shift might be the secret weapon that pushes the Fever to championship contention. But wait, there's more to unpack here. Mitchell's comments about Clark changing the world weren't just hyperbole. Recent data from 2025 shows that WNBA viewership among younger demographics has increased by over 300% since Clark entered the league. International broadcasting deals have exploded, with countries that never showed WNBA games now demanding access. Mitchell isn't exaggerating. She's stating facts that most players would be too proud or jealous to acknowledge. The timing of Mitchell's statement also coincides with growing speculation about the Fever's championship window. With Clark temporarily sidelined but expected to return soon, Boston developing into a dominant force, and Cunningham adding veteran leadership, Indiana has assembled arguably the most talented roster in franchise history. Mitchell's public embrace of Clark's impact might be the chemistry catalyst that transforms talent into titles. What's really striking is how Mitchell's honesty exposes the pettiness of other reactions to Clark around the league. While some veterans spent months trying to diminish Clark's accomplishments or create controversy, Mitchell just demonstrated what real leadership looks like. She gave credit where it's due while maintaining her own dignity and importance. That's a level of emotional intelligence that's rare in any profession, let alone professional sports. The broader implications for the WNBA are massive. Mitchell just showed every veteran in the league how to handle the arrival of transcendent young talent. Instead of feeling threatened or trying to protect their territory, embrace the change and find ways to benefit from it. This approach doesn't just help individual players, it helps grow the entire sport. Mitchell's revelation also sheds light on the Fever's locker room culture, which appears to be far healthier than many suspected. Despite the intense spotlight on Clark and the pressure that comes with it, the team seems genuinely united. Mitchell's comments suggest that Clark's humble approach and willingness to share credit has created an environment where everyone feels valued, regardless of their stats or media attention. The business side of basketball is taking notice too. Sponsors and advertisers love Mitchell's message because it promotes unity and growth rather than division and drama. This could lead to even more investment in the Fever and the WNBA as a whole. Mitchell might have just unlocked millions in additional revenue simply by being honest and mature about the situation. Looking ahead, Mitchell's statement sets up an intriguing dynamic for when Clark returns from injury. The pressure on Clark will be immense, but knowing she has the full support and respect of veterans like Mitchell should help ease that burden. This could be the difference between a good team and a championship team, the kind of chemistry and mutual respect that can't be manufactured or forced. If you're enjoying this deep dive into one of the biggest stories in basketball right now, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more exclusive WNBA coverage. We're bringing you the stories and angles that nobody else is talking about. The reaction from Clark herself, once she addresses Mitchell's comments publicly, will be absolutely fascinating to watch. Will she embrace the compliments while deflecting credit back to her teammates? Will she acknowledge the pressure and expectations that come with being labeled as someone who changed the world of basketball? Her response could either strengthen the bond Mitchell just revealed or create unexpected tension. What makes this entire situation even more compelling is that Mitchell chose to speak now, during Clark's injury absence, rather than waiting for her return. This timing suggests Mitchell wanted to make sure her message was heard clearly without being overshadowed by Clark's on-court performance. It's a strategic move that shows Mitchell understands not just basketball, but media dynamics and public perception. The final piece of this puzzle is what it means for Mitchell's own legacy. By graciously acknowledging Clark's impact while maintaining her own importance, Mitchell has positioned herself as perhaps the most important veteran voice in the new era of the WNBA. She's shown that you can be competitive and supportive, proud and humble, established and welcoming to change. That's a combination that could define the next chapter of women's professional basketball. As we process everything Mitchell just revealed, one thing becomes crystal clear. The Indiana Fever locker room is far more united and strategically aligned than anyone imagined. Mitchell's honest assessment of Clark's impact, combined with her own continued excellence and leadership, creates a foundation for sustained success that goes beyond any individual player. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about showing the sports world how professional athletes can elevate each other rather than tear each other down. The reverberations from Mitchell's revelation will be felt throughout the 2025 season and beyond. She didn't just compliment a teammate or give a generic interview response. She redefined how we talk about team dynamics, generational talent, and the evolution of professional sports. And in doing so, Kelsey Mitchell might have just become the most important voice in the WNBA not named Caitlin Clark.